Professor Dumbledore will be waiting for you. Sherbet lemon.
Professor Dumbledore?
Be in your bonnet, Potter.
I was just wondering if you put me in the right house.
Yes, you were particularly difficult to place. But I stand by what I said last year. You would have done well in Slytherin.
Harry?
Professor! Sir, your bird... There was nothing I could do. He just caught fire.
Oh, and about time, too. He's been looking dreadful for days. Pity you had to see him on a burning day. Fawkes is a phoenix, Harry. They burst into flame when it is time for them to die, and then they are reborn from the ashes. Fascinating creatures, phoenixes.
So the Sorting Hat was right. I should be in Slytherin.
It's true, Harry. You possess many of the qualities that Voldemort himself prizes. Determination, resourcefulness, and if I may say so, a certain disregard for the rules. Why then did the Sorting Hat place you in Gryffindor?
Because I asked it to.
Exactly, Harry, exactly. Which makes you different from Voldemort. It is not our abilities that show what we truly are. It is our choices. If you want proof why you belong in Gryffindor, then I suggest you look more closely at this. Be careful.
Godric Gryffindor.
It would take a true Gryffindor to pull that out of the hat.
Hey there, LEGO fans and Potterheads. I'm the lawyer in the LEGO Shed, and this is the 31st in a series of videos that I'll be making as I build my way through the magical world of LEGO Harry Potter. I've been collecting the Harry Potter LEGO line since it started back in 2001 with the release of the very first movie. And for this video series, I'll be building sets that have been part of the more recent waves of Harry Potter LEGO, beginning in 2018 and stopping with the 2023 releases. The plan is to go in movie order, so without further ado, let's get started. Today we're covering set number 76402, Dumbledore's office, Hogwarts Dumbledore's office. And to get us started, I want to walk through some historical context here. This particular set was released in 2022, and the set has 654 pieces and a total of 6 minifigures, 4 of which are unique to this set. The set itself is divided into 2 main parts, Dumbledore's actual office and the Hogwarts library. Dumbledore's office is actually in a location that has been depicted a few times before in LEGO. Back in 2002, with the release of 4729, we had an entire set dedicated to Dumbledore's office. This set had a lot going on. The entire thing could close up, it could open up. It even had a little lock key that you could put into the middle. That would hold everything together. It had a rotating spiral staircase at the bottom. It had a rotating and swinging wall feature at various parts of it. It even had a little spinning magic feature up at the top of the build that was kind of odd, but still cute. This was also the only way that you could get Professor McGonagall until like 2010, I think. Much like 4730, this was one of my favorite sets as a kid. 4730 is the Chamber's Secret set that we just finished reviewing. So great set, lots going on, and kind of cool as a standalone piece. Then in 2010, as part of the line's reboot for the second to last film, 4842 was released. And in that build, we had, kind of like basically an attempt at a Hogwarts castle. And in the building that appears to be trying to be the clock tower, or at least the exterior tries to replicate the clock tower, they put Dumbledore's office there. And there we see a significant downgrade from 4792 as far as scale and scope and everything that's included. But it still had a lot of the major elements. It had a moving spiral staircase. It had a desk, it had a chair, bookshelves, curiosities to see, Sword of Gryffindor, and the Sorting Hat, which for the first time ever, it had a printed face on it. And then finally, with the release of 71043, the microscale Hogwarts castle, we got the headmaster's office actually placed in the spot that's most commonly thought to be its accurate location at the top of the main tower. So here again, we have a lot of those same important beats. The Griffin statue at the entrance, a little desk and a chair for Dumbledore to sit at, portraits of past headmasters, lots of little things that, cue us into the fact that this is where Dumbledore's office is. Now, as far as the subject matter for the bottom portion of this set goes, the Hogwarts Library, this also has been depicted a few times as well. First, we had in 4709, it's very small, and it appears, kind of just like as a filler portion, but it does appear to be a direct reference to the library with the amount of books that are there. Fun fact, this is actually that old model of book that, you could put little 1x2 tiles in, which was a very common thing for them to do back in the Harry Potter line then. Then in 4842, we actually have a depiction of the restricted section, apparently, of the library. It's in another section of the build from when we see Dumbledore's office, but it is cool to kind of see that finally represented there as well. Again, using that old style book. This time a little more boring, less colors, but definitely still a reference there. And then last but not least, we again have an appearance of the Hogwarts Library in the microscale version. This is, the microscale version is 71043, and it's actually in that portion that's just right across from the viaduct, is where we have the Hogwarts Library placed there. I'm not 100% certain whether or not that is the commonly associated area for where the Hogwarts Library should be, but that is definitely where they put it for this particular build. All right. I think more than anything, the standout here is that none of those are particularly impressive, but they are worth noting for the reason that they have been represented in some form. So without going too much further into it, let's just take a quick dive into the set itself. We've got a great build here that is almost too tall to fit into frame. In fact, I don't even think we're getting the very top of the tower. But kind of a great set from the back here that you can kind of see the exterior. And then our dollhouse approach from these modulars, we can see the 3 different levels that are going on here. Technically 4 if we count that very top of the tower. So if we just work our way from the bottom up, I think that's what we'll do. I'll take off this top portion, and we can see here in the library portion, we've got a nice big grand bookcase. We have 2 different desks here that are actually built on little angles, which is really fun. And then it actually will open up as well. These 2 sides can make it a little bit more accessible to get into the library. And now that I've done that, you can even see that by the windows, we have some nice little gold lamps. So kind of a great representation here of the library itself. And with that nice big bookcase there, and I kind of all the pieces that key you in. Okay, then let's move on to the actual office itself. We have basically 2 sections that are dedicated to the office itself. We have the main portion here, and then the pensieve area. And much like we can do with all the modulars, we can take that off and just focus in on what's here. So then, when we're looking at Dumbledore's office itself, we can see here that we've got a lot of the things we would expect. We've got a nice sorting hat, which is that molded piece that we've seen a lot. We have a little baby fox, the phoenix there. We've got Dumbledore's desk with some nice sticker work here so that it looks just like the one that's present in the movie. A little chair back here. And then it's kind of difficult to see in this shot, but you can see that there's even some like glass little curiosities in the back there. And then his desk is flanked by these two bookcases. It's even up on that little stone platform that we see in the movies as well. So kind of hitting all the major beats that we would expect for Dumbledore's office portion. One thing that I forgot to mention when we were taking a look at this, we did get a quick glimpse of it, but we actually have a great sticker here of the griffin that would be the entrance to Dumbledore's office. So, you know, as you know, you say typically a candy in order to gain access to the moving spiral staircase, and you can ascend through that. The other side does not have a panel there that obstructs the go through. Otherwise, that's a kind of great one off to the side here. Okay, so then we can take a look here at the top portions. We've got our little area for the pensieve. We've got some nice windows in the back there. And at the very top, we have a little marker there for the actual sword of Gryffindor, just kind of resting at the very top of the tower, which felt very reminiscent of what they had done in particularly 4842. So that kind of covers all of our levels. As far as a few things to note, I'll just draw attention to a few things here. This nice little Hogwarts crest that's on the outside of the very top of the tower that I think looks pretty great. The top of the tower, I think itself is quite attractive now that we can see the whole thing together. One other component that is kind of fun down on the library level is we actually have books that can unshelve themselves. So if you can kind of see here, they can shelve and reshelve themselves based upon a little moving mechanism here in the back. Kind of a fun nod to that moment in the scene, I think from book 1, where we actually can see books being reshelved by themselves, which is a fun idea. All right, I think that is basically everything as far as the various components of the set. So let's dive into what I loved about this. I loved how reminiscent this particular set was of the original Dumbledore's office set from my childhood. I think they managed to include several elements that really helped us feel like we were in Dumbledore's office and refine them in a way that made it look even more like the actual movie sets themselves. It was also great to finally get a full library area. I think the minifig selection on this set is also really excellent. We're going to cover that in just a second. But it is pretty great for a smaller set, and we get one new character that we've actually never seen before, and an uncommon one as well. And then last, I would say that this is another one that I really loved, both the back and the front of the display. So as I'm showing you here, we've got these nice dramatic arched windows that are behind the bookshelves in Dumbledore's office. We even have a little foliage on the outside here, disguising that mechanism that we're utilizing, and these very typical Hogwarts-esque kind of cascading towers here. Really, really fun, I think, to have captured this in the way that it did. And then I think as well, when you look at the actual dollhouse style of the set, I think it's quite attractive from the inside as well. And even the choice to be using these grates that allow some more light into those lower portions. I don't know how intentional that all was from the design perspective, but it's continuing to be effective, I think, when we look at these. So I think overall we've got a lot of really wonderful things going well on this particular set. Things I didn't love, the library could have been more full. I think in particular, when we kind of just take a look at it as is, we basically have the one big bookcase, but because the library opens up just like that, why not have included 2 more bookcases on either side to just really make this space feel like a library? So kind of a missed opportunity there, and I don't think it would have been that much more of a piece investment for them either to have done that. So kind of a missed opportunity there, and feels a little, open and absent. Then when we get to level 3, we have an entire area that's dedicated to this pensieve up here, which just feels like kind of an incredible waste of space. It just doesn't seem to utilize it very well. It seems like we could have done something different. And this kind of seems to be a consistent problem with some of these 2021, 2023 waves. But then again, you know, we have the other opposite problem where we don't have enough space as well in certain moments. So it feels like utilizing space properly is just an odd struggle that they have with this modular approach. They either don't have enough or they're not using it well. And then last, I would say that there is some really poor placement of this Griffin print. I mean, it is so cool, it's so detailed, and to have done all of that energy and time and then not have it be kind of accessible and prominently displayed seemed like a very odd decision to me. Those are kind of my main gripes on the set itself. So let's dive into the minifigs. We'll start first with Professor Snape. He's actually our most common fig in this set. He's appeared in 2 other sets previously, one of which we've actually already covered. He's actually a bit of a downgrade from the version of Professor Snape that we saw in the 2018-2020 wave, because his legs no longer have printing on them. It's just those standard black legs. This is something, unfortunately, that LEGO does from time to time, that they will take a fig and kind of downgrade it by not giving it the printing all over that would be nice. But in any event, there's Professor Snape. We've seen him before, but a bit of a downgrade from when we've seen him previously. Then we've got Hermione. She's also appeared in one other set that we've already discussed, but she is a great inclusion here because of the library portion. So glad to have her so that we can include her down on the library level. Next up, we have Harry, who, other than what he's wearing over the top, he's pretty unremarkable. You can kind of see under here, he's just got his standard Hogwarts robes on and a little lantern. But what makes him special is this invisibility cloak with this kind of very unique fabric design and kind of this beautiful rainbow iridescent coloring to it. And then I'll show you, I'll just take off here to show you. It's even got the interior printing as well, just like the actual invisibility cloak from the movie. So kind of a really fantastic little detail and fabric piece here. Previously, the only way that you were able to get the invisibility cloak in the LEGO format, as far as this style of it, was in 2018 when you got a hold of the collectible minifigures. So either you were looking in for the 2018 and for the 2021 waves, the only way that you were getting that is either through this set or that collectible minifig line. And while those cloaks are not identical, they are very similar. And so if you missed it that time around, you could easily substitute for this guy here. So all in all, I think it's one of those little fun inclusions that, despite the fact that the fig underneath is kind of common, it's nice to have gotten such a special element here to be able to include and use in other areas of your castle. Let me just quickly put Harry back together. There we go. And we can move on to Professor Dumbledore. He's a pretty common figure for us, and so really what makes him stand out is the styling of his beard and hair, which is usually an indicator as to whether we're in movie 1, 2, or 3 onward, since the actor change took place. But we also get a lot of wonderful different outfits. This particular outfit, this dark red one, is the only time that we see this one in the 2021 to 2023 wave. So he's unique in that way for that particular outfit. We've seen other representations of this same outfit in the past, but for 2021 to 2023, that was the only way you could get him. All right. Next up, we have Argus Filch. Filch and actually Mrs. Norris as well. Filch, I think, looks pretty darn great with all that he has going on, from the printing on his legs to the printing on his torso. I mean, it just all looks really wonderful there. And we also have a little Mrs. Norris to accompany him. I'll make sure and drop some shots of these two off to the side so you can see them a little better. Let's walk through each piece. His quality has been consistent, I would say, between 2018 and this particular version. This time they actually went for brown instead of gray, which was the styling they had done originally. I personally prefer the gray version, but the facial printing on this particular one is definitely an improvement. Mrs. Norris as well. She is great inclusion and actually has a lot of custom printing on her. The stripes, the eyes, they all look really great. So that she looks a lot more like she did in the movie. She's made appearances before, but kind of just as a standard cat, not necessarily as one that they had custom done for the actual Harry Potter line. So it's nice to see her return after she was omitted from 75923. Okay, last but not least, we have our first ever inclusion of the Hogwarts librarian, Madame Pince. She looks fantastic with a lot of wonderful components here. This nice kind of like crazy four-pointed, four-cornered brimmed hat with a nice big black feather in the front. She's got this great facial printing that looks very austere. Then we have printing on the front of her dress. We have printing on the dress component. All of it just looks really, really great together. I think she's a great inclusion, and there's even printing on the back of her torso print there. All of it just kind of looking fantastic, and she's a great inclusion for someone who gets very little screen time. I think she's maybe seen twice in the whole movie series. She's a lot more prevalent in the books, but definitely a great inclusion to have a character with so little screen time get representation here. So let's move on to the overall impression now that we've had a chance to look at the minifigs and we've taken a look at the build. I would say that I think this set is overall quite well done. I think that it's got a lot of visual appeal from both the front and the back, and I feel like they did a good job of hitting all the right beats with the rooms that they're depicting. While there are some elements that don't quite work for me, and certainly some wasted space throughout the set, I think that it's a worthy reimagining of the original Dumbledore's Office set from back in 2002. I also think the minifig selection is pretty great for a set this size. I think that from the 2021 wave, this might be my favorite set so far that we've built. And gosh, with that, I'd say that is it for 76402. And it's also it for all of the sets that are focused on the Chamber of Secrets. So we are done with that movie now. Our next sets are actually going to take us into the Prisoner of Azkaban. And so I thought this might be a good time for us to just take a minute and see how Hogwarts is progressing as we have moved along. So with the help of movie magic, we are going to pause right here. And here is a quick shot of how everything so far for the Hogwarts castle looks for the 2018 to 2020 wave. We can see here our set that's mainly focused on movie 2, as well as our set that's primarily movie 1, kind of filling out our exterior of the castle really nicely. All right, and here is a quick shot of all the sets that we've done so far that are part of the 2021-2023 wave. You can see here all of our moving parts that move us from movie 1 and movie 2. All right, and here is my display of both of the castle systems together from what we have been able to get done so far. You can see here our Great Hall and Whomping Willow portion in the front from the 2018 to 2021 line. And then in the back here, we can see kind of all the other modular components that we've been working on, building our way through Chamber of Secrets as well. Lots more emphasis on Chamber of Secrets in that second wave that we can see the 2021 to 2023 wave. But yeah, there is both of them together and essentially all the sets that we've done that have focused on Hogwarts, the castle portion itself.